Hello and welcome to another episode of Boxing with Paul. And today, I'm excited to bring you Samsung's Galaxy A54 5G, their latest iteration in their mid-budget lineup. Let's take a look at it. Released a couple of months ago, I realized that I'm a bit late to the party. In the box, we get a quick start guide as well as terms and conditions, in addition to a Type-C to Type-C USB cable, as well as a cheap twisted wire SIM ejector tool. Now here is the actual Galaxy A54 5G device. It looks a little cheap. Here, if you can take a look at it, it is that really glossy plastic. It's almost like a mirrored finish. However, this very much reminds me of 2019, 2018 models where everything was that really glossy, high intensity reflective plastic. This time around, we have a 6.4 inch 1080 by 2340, 120 hertz, 1000 nits Super AMOLED display, which is just a dash smaller than last year's 6.5 inch 1080 by 2400, 120 hertz, 80 nits Super AMOLED. Now this time around, we're packing an Exynos 1380 with 4 of its cores clocked in at 2.0 GHz for those lighter day-to-day tasks, and then the remaining 4 cores are clocked in at 2.4 GHz for those heavier, more power-intensive tasks. I'm a bit curious as to why they went with a 4x4 configuration as opposed to the usual 6x2 configuration that we tend to see in 5G processors. However, again, because this is an Exynos processor, I'm going to go on a limb and say that is why. Now, inside of this phone, we are packing 128 gigabytes of storage paired to 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is a 2 gigabyte increase over last year's model and actually over any model that we have for the 50 series for that matter. Ever since the Galaxy A51, the 52, the 53, we've always had 6 gigabytes of RAM. However, this time around, we're having 8 gigabytes of RAM, so it's definitely an increase and a step up that we are seeing into this new lineup. We also feature dual band Wi-Fi 6. We feature Bluetooth 5.3. NFC, and an under the display fingerprint reader, which is no good, which is no news. We've already known that, as well as a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which can receive up to a 25 watt fast charge. When we look at the left side of the device, we can see there's a plain look, there's nothing to it. When we look at the top, we can see our SIM/SD card tray right at the top, as well as a pinhole microphone. And then when we look on the right side, we can see our volume slider, our power button, in addition to me being driven up the wall, because every single time I'm trying to turn it up, I'm trying to turn it down, I'm trying to adjust the volume, I wind up ending my phone call. I wind up shutting off the screen and getting killed in the game. I wind up turning off the screen when I'm watching a movie, and it just breaks the immersiveness into whatever sort of media that I'm trying to enjoy. And it's just not a good time at all. Okay, so if manufacturers could please go ahead and put the volume sliders on the one side and the power button on the other side, I would greatly appreciate that. Moving right along, when we go over to the bottom of the device, we can see our speaker grill, our Type-C port, as well as one more pinhole microphone, and that is it. When we go over and look at the rear, we can see that we have a triple camera array with a 50 megapixel main lens, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, as well as a 5 megapixel macro lens all the way at the bottom. And impressively, we are able to record 4K 30 frames per second, as well as 720p and up to 480 frames per second for that fast action shot. And then when we look over at our selfie lens, we can expect to see a 32 megapixel sensor that is also able to shoot up to 4K in 60 frames per second. And of course, we can't go by without testing out this phone's camera capabilities. So let's go ahead and find out what kind of selfie we can get in a portrait mode. So cheese. So then that was a selfie in portrait mode on the Galaxy A54 5G. And then inversely, let's go ahead and see what kind of video quality we get. So then this is what video looks and sounds like on the selfie camera of the Galaxy A54 5G. Man, that's a pretty crisp camera. I can see my little hair sticking out. I can see my little freckles. I can see my imperfections. I can see my blackheads. So this is a fairly good camera. You guys be the judge of how good or how bad this camera quality is just as soon as we upload it into the MacBook. And then you guys already know, on the same token, let's go ahead and flip this around. All right, so then this is what video looks and sounds like on the main camera of the Galaxy A54 5G. Again, it looks to be like a really, really, really crisp camera where you can see all my little freckles and imperfections upon this camera. You guys let me know just how good or bad this camera quality is just as soon as we upload it into the MacBook. And then you guys already know we can't go ahead and go by without running Geekbench. So then we're going to go ahead and run Geekbench 6, which is going to go ahead and confirm the fact that we already have 4 of our cores clocked in at 2.0 gigahertz for those latter day-to-day tasks, and then the remaining 4 cores clocked in at 2.4 gigahertz for those heavier, more power-intensive tasks. And we're going to go ahead and run that CPU benchmark, and I'll be right back with you guys as soon as this is over. Okay, and we are back, and as you guys can see, we got a 932 for the single core, and we got a 2583 for the multi-core. Just to put those numbers into perspective, guys, those are really, really, really high, really good numbers, because it wasn't that long ago. I think it was maybe 3 years ago when we had the Galaxy A20. And that guy had like a 160 something or like a 180 something on the single core. We've beaten that. We've beaten that by 5, maybe 6 times. And in addition to that, the multi-score, we've gone way, way up in the multi-score. We've significantly gone up in both of these scores. So that means that not only are good smartphones getting cheaper smartphones are getting good. We are definitely we're doing so again. The fact that we have a 932, it wasn't that long ago when we had a quarter of that. We had a quarter of that in less than 3 years ago. We're doing so well. We're coming so far along. And last but not least, one of the very last things that are left to do is for us to be able to fire up Super Mega Champions, which is one of the games that I really, really enjoy playing. And normally I'm not able to sign in. I'm just going to have to go ahead and play for the tutorial. However, the reason why I fire up this game is because not only in the process, but given the fact that we can upgrade the kind of frames per second, the kind of hertz that we can get out of the screen. So if I'm not mistaken, this screen should be able to go all the way up to 120 hertz per second or 120 frames per second. So we're definitely going to be able to test that out in this game. And again, I'm hoping to God that when we do a screen recording, that it doesn't fail, that nothing goes wrong with it. Because last time that we had this, the screen recording kind of failed and it left us wanting for a nicer footage of the game so that we can go ahead and show you guys exactly what we're talking about. This processor really, 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 it doesn't kick butt, but it definitely, it's a lot better than what a basic processor would be. Okay, we're screen recording. Okay, cool. Maybe Castle, here we go. I mean, it feels fluid, it feels nice, but I don't know if it feels 120 hertz nice. You guys be the judge of that if you can go ahead and get 120 hertz resolution or 120 hertz frame rate on your YouTube video. But either way, okay, let's go. We mean business. We're here to pawn noobs, take names, and kick butt. And guess what? We're out of pen, so we're not taking any more names. All right. I have a pretty good feeling about this here. Oh yeah, this bad boy is cooking. Oh, the mech is already ready. God dang it. Alright, we're going to Firebox. Alright, come on. Let's get to it, guys. See, that wasn't even fair. That guy probably like wasn't even looking at me. See, now, this is not a mech that I am familiar with. I have no idea what I'm doing with this mech. I've maybe played with this mech once or twice in my whole life. See? No idea what I'm doing. Alright. Move it along. Back up. Come on, let's get our module. Oh, we can get that module that... What does it do? What does it do? Doesn't tell me what it does. Come on. Bitch. I'm talking shit, bro.
I heard the guys. It worked.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's not weed, Eliana. It's so
Bam.
I swear to God, every time
Number one. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on this, and if there's any other thoughts that I should mention this, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching.